All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Baker's Dozen podcast. I'm your host, Cade, owner and CEO, I guess, of BitterSweet, and with me is Collective, competitive Halo player and BitterSweet Pink roster member. What's up, man?
What's going on? Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
No problem, man. Finally getting to catch up. Me and you haven't really talked a whole lot since Fort Worth. How you been?
I've been good, just getting back to the regular day. Unfortunate that we have a long off season, but I guess some good things can come out of it.
What's the plan to kind of like burn some of that time?
I start up my new job next week, hopefully. Hopefully that all goes good, and just kind of since then, I haven't really been doing anything other than just playing a detrimental amount of matchmaking, I guess.
All right. So I don't know if you've heard, but I heard there's a meta change. How are you feeling about possibly Bandit? I think it's Bandit, right? Bandit starts?
Yeah. So I've heard a few things. So I heard it's going to be a variation of the Bandit, like a different scope on it, whatnot, which I'm all for. I think precision shot weapons are a way better competitive style, weapon compared to the BR. Adds for a lot of more outplayability in a one-on-one, circumstance. So I think it'll the people who are truly, really good at the game, they'll shine. But I think the people who have kind of been bailed out by the BR will, it'll kind of start to come to light. So I'm for it. I'm really for it.
I've played with it a little bit. I'm honestly not a fan of it. Like I had someone one time tweet that it feels like the Halo 5 Magnum on my timeline, and I immediately picked it up to try it, and it does not feel like that at all. I don't know how much time you've played with the Halo 5 Magnum, but it is not the Bandit, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Magnum felt a lot smoother than
For
the
sure.
Bandit does for sure. So I hope with them making like a variant of it or whatnot, maybe because like there's a lot of times where I feel like I kill somebody with it,
Mhm.
and instead I get like a blank shot with it or something. I feel like it's not the most consistent gun, which they do need to get that to be a very consistent weapon if that's going to be the starting weapon. I definitely don't think it feels like the Magnum at all. The Magnum was a smooth thing to have, but I don't know. Hopefully, it's the step in the right direction.
Yeah, I'd have to agree the consistency on it. It's like, is it blooming? Is it the bloom?
I don't even know if it's bloom so much as it's like I just feel like I get a blank with it. I don't know. Like I know you can't have the Halo 5 pistol in because you got to make it because everybody's complaint was it's just unappealing to watch a pistol run around. Like
Yeah.
you got to have a large weapon, but I I don't like I pick it up when I can, but it's a lot different whenever it's a starting weapon. You can kind of see how it flows a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. All right, before we get into too much, why don't you give like some of the listeners like a little background of who you are? Like who is Collective? Like what's your name?
My name's Lance. I've probably been playing video games since before I could even talk fluently. Um, I grew up with three older brothers, so I was always kind of exposed to video games at a very early age. Um, I would say my oldest brother kind of got me into video games. I would always walk into his room and I would see like Halo 1 and 2, booted up, and it just kind of caught my eye. So ever since then, I've just kind of just been following the path that video games put me on.
How uh
Um,
how much older was he than you?
at the time, I think he was 15, I was 5, so
Oh
there's about
wow,
a
okay.
10-year difference
Yeah,
between
that's a
us.
big gap.
Yeah. But like my other two brothers, they were always like play video games. They just didn't really like find it as fun as me and my oldest brother did. But they all had their fair share for sure.
What do your brothers think of like you competing? Like are they pretty into it? Like especially probably your older brother, or do they not keep up, or like do y'all not
Yeah,
really?
they're definitely really supportive. I got a good supportive group behind me. My parents are there too. Luckily, I haven't had any friction when it comes to competing, so I get along with it probably the best with my older brother. Just because he kind of gets it. He did a lot of that stuff kind of when he was a lot younger. He would play Halo 3 and try and get to the rank 50, so he kind of gets the competitive nature behind it. My other brothers, they're pretty supportive of it. They don't really know the ins and outs and how it works. So that's where me and my oldest brother we kind of get along the most with it, which has been nice.
When was like that moment where you're like, okay, I'm better than him now?
I think it was
'Cause that's a big deal. Like I had an older
yeah.
sibling,
I,
and
I remember the day vividly. It was the Master Chief Collection had just come out, and I had pretty much just kind of stayed towards Call of Duty for a while. But when Master Chief Collection came out, we had all booted up like a 1v1 on it, and he just couldn't keep up with me. And I think that's when it kind of like clicked in my head. I was like, all these years have kind of it's been put to the test, and I finally got over the hump of beating my older brother in a 1v1. So
Yeah,
I remember it vividly.
I
It's
do
just
too. Like
crazy.
for me, it was my older sister who was like 4 or 5 years older than me,
Uh,
but it was mainly sports. Like when she wasn't big enough to physically like beat me. Like I remember her just getting her ass beat in a basketball game and just like I went up for a layup and she pushed me into the brush that we had behind our goal because she was raging. Like I'll always remember that moment when yeah, when you're better than that older sibling for sure.
yeah.
What games besides Halo? Like
I started off, kind of the Nintendo 64 was always kind of something that was thrown around. So Super Smash Bros. And then the Wii, you got to play the Wii Sports and everything. The first game that I started putting a lot of time into was probably Guitar Hero. Like Guitar Hero is like deep in my roots. I really love Guitar Hero. I don't know why. It was just something fun to play when I was a kid.
yeah, it had a moment for
Um,
sure. That game was huge.
yeah, I remember just walking into Best Buy and playing on the screen, like because they used to have it set up and everything. Like those were some pretty big games, and then I started playing Halo probably when I was around 5 or 6, but only like the campaign. So I was first kind of exposed to that before Call of Duty, but I started putting a lot of hours into Modern Warfare 2, and that's kind of where my competitive nature kind of started.
Modern Warfare 2, like the OG one, right?
Yeah, like I always wanted to like rank up and stuff. I didn't start like GBs or anything back then, but that's where I really started to get hooked on like a title.
Yeah, and I don't even think they had like ranked mode back then. Like I think it was probably Black Ops 2 when
Yeah,
they first introduced that. So
yeah.
yeah,
uh,
okay. So how old are you?
I'm 20 right now. I'll be 21 in December, so I still, got a long road ahead of me. I'm
I
not as
thought you
old
were
as
like
some people.
24. I thought you were 24.
Yeah, I'm a youngin for sure. I still got a lot of time in me.
Who's on
I
the
just
other team that was 24? Like was it Parabola,
Parabola is 23, about to be 24, I believe.
Ziad 24?
Ziad, I think is I don't know. Ziad may not even be 23. I think he's like 21, 22.
Okay, maybe
I
that's
could
where I
be
got it
completely
mixed
wrong,
up.
but
I thought Ivan Ives was like the baby, and then the rest of y'all were like
he
23,
is.
24.
He just turned 19 not too long ago, so
Oh my
he's
God,
the
he's
youngest.
a little baby, so
Yeah,
fresh.
yeah. So this was I think Orlando was his first event of year one, so he's pretty new to competing in general. Everybody on the team was pretty new to competing, except me and Ziad whenever we first formed.
Okay, where'd you grow up?
Right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. I live in a city, Winston Salem, so that's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
where I've
I've
spent
heard of
my
that.
whole life. Kind of moved in between like here, Charlotte, Raleigh, so I've kind of stayed in the area, but kind of just pretty much grew up in one spot. I've lived in the same house maybe 14 years now, so I
Dang. Okay.
put the roots down for a while.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. What else? What else like did you like doing growing up besides playing Halo, COD?
So before, I took video games really serious. I was big into sports. Did baseball for a while. Baseball was probably the one that holds the most longevity compared to all the other sports. Did football, basketball, dabbled with wrestling a little bit in high school, my freshman year. But yeah, baseball kind of held the reins on it for a while. I did little league for a while, and then around middle school is when I started picking up wagers and online tournaments, Twitter tournaments, and I just kind of found like a new passion for that compared to sports. And my parents were always supportive of just finding whatever you want to do to pass the time, and if it brings in money, that's great. So they were always really supportive
So when
in
you got
that
out of
aspect.
school, how long were you grinding after school? Were you playing literally from the time you got home till like nighttime, or was
Yeah,
there?
I mean, I'd get home. I would get my. If I didn't do my homework right away, I would be doing it in between like rounds of a tournament or in between rounds of S&D. Like I would try and get out of the way, but I just wanted as much time as possible to play video games. And my mom used to have this rule when I was in elementary school where I couldn't play video games during the week, and it was like the most brutal rule I thought at the time. And then when I started playing it and taking it serious, she got rid of that rule as long as my grades kept up. So I'm glad she got rid of the rule. It was a big problem I had to overcome at the time.
Do you remember what game it was that you started playing like wagers, GBs, and tourneys?
It was Call of Duty Ghosts. So
Trash
Black
can.
Ops 2 is when. Okay, don't even get me started. I know your thoughts on Blitz. Okay.
Yep.
So Black Ops 2, I started like YouTube. I would see like Scump, Nadeshot, all of them. So I started like watching in Black Ops 2.
Mhm.
I didn't feel like I was really good at the game. Call of Duty Ghosts, the ranked mode wasn't like the best,
Yeah,
but
Clan
it
Wars
kind of got
or
me.
whatever.
Yeah, it kind of got me a feeling for how the game worked a little bit. So the time to kill in that game was really fast,
Yeah.
so I felt like my reaction time was pretty good. So I started playing S&D and Call of Duty Ghosts. That's when like you'd watch all your streamers on the MLG.TV. Like that's a big throwback.
Yeah.
So I dabbled with like GBs and just the free ladder at the end of Ghost, and then going into after that was Advanced Warfare. That's when I really started kind of to take it serious as far as variant more than just S&D.
Hmm. What about like Halo 3? Halo 3's out by that point. Did you play ranked or anything like
No,
that in that
not
game?
like I would kind of just play social back in the day. I never really got to grind the ranked 50
Yeah.
at the time. Um, so my roots kind of started like that was a first person shooter that I was exposed to was Halo 3, but as far as my competitive nature, it held on to Call of Duty a lot longer than it should have. Advanced Warfare was when I first started going to LANs. But once after AW, in Black Ops 3, you had to be 18, and at the time I was only 13, so it kind of killed the passion for me there. Which I hate that was a rule, but yeah, I stayed in Call of Duty a lot longer than I wish I had.
Yeah. What was it like growing up where you're from? Like, is that a suburb or is that a city? Like a big city?
Uh, Kind of more of a suburb area. It's pretty. I wouldn't say crowded, but there's a lot going on here. It's not like your big city like Charlotte, where I moved to for college, but it's got. I kind of live in like a smaller esque part of the city, if that makes sense. We got
Hmm.
one stoplight. We got this little square that like plays movies every now and then. So like, it's a nice little quiet area to grow up in for sure.
Okay. What'd you go to school for?
Cybersecurity and just IT in general. So I'm a big tech geek when it comes to that stuff.
Okay. Did you ever learn to like edit photos or videos and
Yeah, like I've done like all my Adobe certifications and stuff like in high school and whatnot. I felt like that stuff was kind of just too easy. I was like, I need to do something a little bit more challenging.
so what you're telling me
Um,
is you're gonna edit this podcast after we're done, huh?
I can 100% tell you that I can do that. Yeah. But I really just like the ins and outs of how the computer works on the back end and whatnot. So that's kind of what fascinated me to get into it because my dad was like that whenever I was growing up. If there was a problem, he would just fix it himself instead of going out and getting it fixed.
How
So
did
that was
like
always kind of intriguing.
how did like gaming affect your social life? Were you like just coming home and like, nah, I can't go do anything?
Yeah, I was pretty much shutting people off. Like I had a
Yeah.
girlfriend in middle school that I just kind of like. I was like, yeah, my mom says I can't hang out this weekend, and really it's just because there was a tournament that weekend or something. I wish I hadn't shut myself off as much as I did. I wish I was kind of open to new experiences and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it just sometimes you got to do what you can to escape reality. That's kind of just that was my escape.
Okay. What did you have like any gaming friends that kind of came up with you that okay, we're going home and let's hop on GBs for duos, or did you meet everybody that you play with online?
So at when I first kind of started, it was I would find just 3 friends that played Call of Duty at my school, and I would make them all a MLG or UMG account, and they would just play with me, and we would just be losing and losing and losing, but I was having these insane series or whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it started, and then I kind of used that as like people would beat our team, but I was the one kind of 1v3ing in the scenario, and I would
Yeah.
kind of start playing with them or like I didn't really start off on Twitter until kind of like probably the end of Advanced Warfare. I would kind of meet people in like ranked play or just they would beat me in GB, and I would just reach out to them. So it was definitely baby steps at first. I had to play with guys that didn't really know, the weapon setups or the weapon loadouts, and kind of make my way from there.
I'm glad you mentioned AW because that's the best Call of Duty all time.
It's really close between AW and Black Ops 3. I mean,
Those games are
Jetpack
amazing. Yeah.
at the time, everybody just hated on those games, but
Just-
the weapon meta in AW was just
yeah.
unmatched.
Yeah. And competitive was just booming. We had 2Ks every weekend, 5Ks. I think every now and then we had like a 10K,
Yeah,
like the big
yeah,
ones, and you could find 250 series. S&D was popping, like Nick Merckx and T Martin were playing S&D tournaments. Nade. Like,
yeah. I feel like now the game's popping for probably the first 2 or 3 months, and then it all kind of dies down. But like it was just green light all of those years year round. Like there was just so many local lands. There were so many
mhm.
tournaments to go to. Like granted, the MOG and UMG tournaments, they weren't for the prize pool that they are now, but like it was
Yeah,
still everybody just wanted to go for pure passion.
for sure. The scene has changed a lot since then.
Yeah, I also like the boost mechanics more for AW
Oh yeah.
than Black Ops 3. Like Black Ops 3, it was a jetpack, yeah, but like the double tapping your jetpack button on AW, that was a lot better. The thrusting to side, like
Yeah, the skill gap for that was amazing. Did you run a
unmatched.
sub or a bow?
I was a bow guy for sure. The bow
Okay.
was my thing.
Yeah.
Um, Uplink, I think. Oh man, Uplink was so good. Like I know you hate Blitz and I like Blitz, but I'll give you the fact that Uplink's better than Blitz.
Oh yeah. Comeback
Uplink is
uplink.
unmatched.
I love comeback
Oh
uplink.
yeah, come back Uplink.
Detroit was pretty fun too. Like I don't know if you watched like the old BitterSweet teams, but there was a moment where we're I think we're playing Devoid and we're about to score and we got hit with an EMP that killed one of our players, not just like he was about to dunk it and we ended up losing the series, but it's on YouTube. You should check it out. It's like a crazy way we ended up losing that series. Got
I'll have to go
reverse
back and watch
swept.
those. I didn't even know they were on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it was a qualifier for pool play for must have been like Anaheim or I can't remember. No, it couldn't have been Anaheim because we had Ontario that year. Maybe DC or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it was crazy.
So did you like what made you give up the competing side? Just Call of Duty wasn't it anymore?
Just work in general. Like I lost time. I got married. Um, I just didn't have the time to play. Like I hop on every now and then play S&D tournaments. Maybe not recently because the last couple games haven't been good. Though I did play Vanguard quite a bit. But this game was pretty atrocious. 2019 MW was atrocious, and then I did like Cold War. Cold War was good. So
I think Cold War was the best we've had in a while. I kind of
yeah,
got on Vanguard when it first came out and just did the kind of like wagers. I never really toyed with variant. It's just I don't know the whole like 70 to 100 attachments per gun. It's just
yeah,
that kind of stuff's just not it for me. It's just too complicated.
yeah. I'm looking forward to the new one. I feel like this might be if it's a good game, we'll be back in COD for sure for
I,
challengers.
I definitely think so. I think just the nostalgia around them returning all the MW2 maps, like that could be good. I've heard like the mobility rate in the game's a lot faster. So I don't know. As long as it just has the fundamentals, I think it can thrive.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Let's say MW3, it's banging, red dots, good weapon meta, good maps, um, and then Halo goes online only, other than, maybe the pro teams getting invited and having to earn a spot online. Are you making the switch?
I don't know. That's a tough. You put me on the spot here.
Yeah. And you
I
don't have to
wish
answer if
like
you don't. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but
no. I got to. So Cold War, I played challengers for a bit, but it was kind of still all kind of like online at the beginning.
mhm,
And I enjoyed it because like I wanted to give it a shot. I was finally 18. You still had to be 18. I wanted to give
yeah.
challengers a shot. Cold War was a great game. If Halo were only online, I may have to make the switch. I don't know if I can just keep playing the game and just never go anywhere for it. That's just kind of kills the passion for me.
Yeah.
Like I like playing Halo online for the fact that the work pays off and you get to show it in person in a few months. But yeah, I don't know. But like Call of Duty would have to be perfect at that point.
Yep.
Like if there was just a lot of flaws with it, I would I don't know what I would do. I think I would just maybe try and do content or just streaming Halo or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you come back?
No, not at all. I might do like the first tournament or something. Like you know how they have like that first 2K and it's like
Yeah, the
500, 1,000 teams,
yeah,
something like
like
that.
the kickoff.
Yeah, we had a team at the beginning of Cold War, which was Ghosty, Quality, Sheldon, who went by Murica back in the day from
Yeah,
Onslaught,
onslaught. Yeah.
and then the fourth. Who was the fourth? I can't remember who the fourth was. Like we played with Godly and Godperf. I don't know if you know who those guys are, but we were doing pretty well, and then things just started falling apart. But yeah, I would love to have a COD team again.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know Ghosty played for y'all back in
Yep.
Cold War. I guess that's why he kind of DM'd you when we signed with or picked us up and everything. I didn't know y'all went way back. I'm excited to see what he does with LA Thieves. But
Same. Yep. That's my team now. Like I'll always root
I
for
think
Optic, but gotta root for my boy Ghosty over there.
yeah, I mean like I think that's a lot of talented players and they're gonna be seen as an underdog. So everybody loves an underdog story.
Yeah, they
I
definitely
think
went the development route rather than like sign some superstars.
yeah, I think Challengers is going to be in a tough spot because I saw that Electrify Steel, they're not going to be fielding a roster, at least for the beginning of Challengers. And I know they were kind of like partnered with Rocker or
Hmm.
whatever in Challengers, so that was kind of a big hit for them too.
And M7, I don't know if you're Millennium 7 or something like that.
Yeah,
I
they
think
they they were a European team, weren't they?
I can't remember, but I just remember like they always had a good team. I think they showed up at every Challengers event, but he like released like how much they spent on COD. I think it was M7. It was one of those orgs that like
Or
went to
was it
every event.
or was it the Awaba Bobs or whatever?
For sure. Yep. It was Awaba
Yeah,
Bobs. Is that how you say it?
yeah,
Awaba
because
Bobs?
I think so. I don't know. I just know they were, I think, a top three Challengers team, and they had ended up just losing money all year,
Yeah, like a lot.
which is yeah, unfortunate, really.
Yeah,
But I mean, I guess you gotta spend money to make money, and in their case, it didn't work out for them.
for sure. So how'd you get your gamertag collective? What's that from?
Um, I remember I was like playing. So my gamer tag before this was my brother was in like an old clan in like Halo 2. It was like the Jack clan, JAK. So I was like, his was like Intense Jack 101. So I was like, I'll just make mine Lance Jack 101. And then everybody just kept picking on the name when I would play like ranked play in
Yeah.
Advanced Warfare. I was like, all right, I need a name change. And I remember just like the clip of I just was playing ranked and Nate Shot was in the game. He was like, "You just got to be calm, cool, and collected." And I was like, "I like that word. I got to make a play off of the word collected." So that's where I kind of got the name Collective. Was just ranked play basically. So kind of went with it, and I was like, I like it. Parabola gets on my nerves a lot about in my gamer tag on Xbox as a 7 as the T, and he's like, "You need to change it." But I don't know. I'll get around to it. First, we got to get Gravy to change his gamer tag.
Oh my God, Gravy! What in the world, dude?
I
Like he went on
think,
main stage with that. I would have made him change it just for
yeah.
that.
His dad like knew the owner of Elevate back in the day, and he
Oh
has a
yeah,
jersey. Yeah, he has a jersey. It's called like his old gamer tag was Gravenator, and it was
Cravinator.
just I don't know which one's worse.
That guy owns Godfire now. Godfire GG. I don't know if
I
you've
don't know
seen
if
that
I've heard
brand.
of that one.
They're kind of, I think they're just kind of sticking to like a community and content and stuff like that. I think they had an Apex team at one point, but I think he sold Elevate to, I don't even know if you remember during Black Ops 4, but there was a brand called, I think it was Accelerate. There was a whole bunch of drama with that team and like selling the
Oh
stock,
yeah,
not,
that's
yeah.
where I think Envoy had played for them at one point. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong team. I don't know.
Uh,
But I didn't know
oh
he
yeah,
sold Elevate.
you're thinking of Midnight. That was a different,
Midnight.
yeah,
Okay, I don't know why that's what popped into my
because
head.
that was another team during Black Ops 4 that kind of like had some payment issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, Accelerate owner
I
became the owner of Elevate. I guess he bought them a few years ago, and so the old owner of Elevate now owns Godfire GG.
yeah, the only tweets I've seen about Elevate was a while ago that they had like I'd seen that they have a like Rainbow Six team, but I don't
Yeah,
know what else they're in.
I think Rainbow Six, maybe Apex. I think that's it though. Maybe a
Did,
couple small games, but for sure those two.
did you watch some of that Apex Championship?
No, I never got into Apex.
Man, I've been trying to get into Apex. That is just not my game. Battle Royales are just not my game.
Yeah, same here. There's too much RNG for me. Like, and then getting third partied. Like, to
Yeah.
me, it's just not. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. I think Battle Royales are kind of outdated, but I guess not, if Apex is doing as well as it does.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
All right. Well, let's talk about Fort Worth a little bit. You guys represented us at Fort Worth this past early September. It was you, Shock, Parabola, and Ivanized.
Yeah.
It was good to get to meet you guys. I think we met like that first Thursday night. Went out to some hibachi. Got to kind of hang out with you guys for a little bit. All good dudes. Had a good time. What was your Fort Worth experience like?
We definitely underperformed. I'll start with that. I think we all kind of know our potential as players. It was all of our faults. We really meshed well with Ziad at the tournament prior. Placed really well with him. That kind of put our names on the radar. And I think we were all kind of, I don't want to say we had an ego going into Arlington, but we kind of had expectations that we feel like we had set.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really meet those expectations. And, sometimes, that's the way the cookie crumbles. You gotta lose some to, get a few notches on your belt, which was something we kind of needed. We picked up Shock. Shock is a great player. Just kind of fell flat. We played against a really good team. Our losers bracket, Oceans. It was like Maddie and all of them. They came out and they played really well.
Yeah, they did. That team like was super underrated in my opinion. Like they got I think
Yeah,
top
they were.
24 the previous event, and then I don't know. They just look pretty consistent.
Yeah, because the tournament prior they had Natroxen and Saves that was on
Mm-hmm.
BitterSweet as well this tournament, and they switched them out for I think two players that they had ran with prior to Arlington, so kind of like their original roster.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we kind of took them a little too lightly. We just kind of saw. I was like, oh yeah, this should we should win this, and we kind of went into that match kind of underprepared. And I know a couple buddies said that team was really prepared going into Fort Worth. So kudos to them. We had our map one versus LG in winners was kind of it could have gone either way. We kind of made a bad play at the very end that kind of threw us map one, and it just kind of snowballed from there. But underperformed in all aspects. But it's a live and learn experience. I was kind of telling Ivan Eyes, this is his first year. Like some things are just not going to go your way. You're going to have hiccups, and that's okay to have them. But it's definitely a good motivator for the following year to come.
For sure. I think like when we looked at picking you guys up originally, Ziad was on that roster, and nothing against Shock or anything, but like from what I hear about Ziad from like people like Gunplexion and Leader Nest, like Ziad was a big piece.
Yeah,
Hopefully he comes back. I don't know what or you've talked to him. I haven't. I don't know if I've ever talked to him, to be honest. I may have DM'd him once or twice, but once I heard he had left the team, it was I don't think I've talked to him since. But see him playing with Gunplexion a lot, like on stream and whatnot. I know they're
yeah.
homies.
He hops on there. I think I was playing matchmaking with him for like 2 or 3 hours yesterday, and it just it's unfortunate. His brother's wedding, and you can't miss that.
Yeah,
Video
for
games
sure.
are never important as family, and just he said wait till after Worlds. He kind of wants to see what the layout is for next year because if it's 8 months of online play, that's pretty brutal.
That is brutal.
So the thing with him is that you just got to find the missing piece to the puzzle, and I think he kind of was. Ivan Eyes and Parabola picked me up prior to Charlotte, and we saw some pretty immediate results, just us three, and he was Ziad was the missing link to us, and we all just kind of meshed well as players. I know Ziad teamed with Gunplexion, and they didn't see the results that they wanted, and luckily we were able to see them. So I think that was a clear indicator. It kind of sucks that we didn't get to see what our ceiling was because it was just so much untapped potential, but it's good.
Yeah, we got what we get first round bye, right?
Yep, and then played a team, winners 2, and then winners 3 we played LG.
Who we play winners 2? Was that the team that I don't remember who we played in winners round 2?
can't remember what their team name was, but it was Wile E. Coyote and them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We kind of clutched up last map against them. We played really really sloppy against them, but luckily we got able to get over that hurdle.
Yeah, I was a little
And then
nervous right there watching you guys. Was
yeah,
it
yeah,
Sparse? It was Sparse team too, right? Spar and
yeah,
Wile E.
yeah.
Coyote.
Wiley,
Yeah.
Spar, yeah. So beat them. Went into the LG match pretty confident. We played them really close on the first map, like I said, and then map 2 kind of spiraled out of control. Map 3 kind of spiraled out of control as well. Went down to losers, played Oceans. They 3-1 to us. I want to say we kind of it should have gone map 5. It was Aqua Flag. We were up 3-2
I
with
saw
like
that.
yeah, we were up 3-2 with 20 seconds left. We just kind of made a bad play at the very end, and they forced it to overtime and kind of
Yeah.
capitalized on it. But um,
I thought
it
y'all
was
had that in the
nice
bag, to be honest. I thought it was
yeah.
over. I was starting
thought
to
it-
walk away, and then I was pretty shocked.
I thought we were gonna go game 5, but I don't even remember what the game 5 was supposed to be. But it was nice to see some teams, get the recognition and stuff that they deserve. I know maybe it was Scion that beat Oceans right after us, but they had a really
I
good
think it was
tournament.
Cinta.
Reverb and uh,
Was it
I
Cyan or
don't
Cinta?
I don't know. Negra. They almost verse swept LVT. I thought they were gonna go game 5 against them, and then
Yeah, that
they
team showed
couldn't.
out too.
Yeah, we play Negra a lot, and they're a really good set of guys. So I was kind of rooting for them. It was good to see Optic win though too. Everybody put a question mark on them these past few tournaments and online and whatnot, but it was good to see them show out too.
Did you see that shirt they put on sale? Did you end up getting one?
No, was it like the champion shirt they always do?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I think it was like 40 or $50. I was like, nah, but it was.
I
it
told
was
myself
really
I'd
cool.
like buy one. I never ended up doing.
Yeah.
Never ended up doing it. I was able to watch the like the qualifier matches for the regions.
hmm
Divine Mind.
Oh yeah, my poor boy Scoob, man. I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, I mean that was the map that I think they ended up losing 4-2
Yeah, they
series
did.
count, and that last map it was just Plaza Strongholds are just it can get really bad for you really quick, and just I don't know, but it was good to see those two teams, and then LG versus Alpha. Those were good matches as well.
LG got through too. So like both teams who got pool play at Fort Worth lost qualifying for Worlds at that little regional playoff thing they did.
Yeah, well, LG. Oh yeah, you are correct. I was about to say LG didn't even make it to pools, but yeah, Alpha ended up losing from pools.
Yep.
I'm not really a fan of them not changing the format for Worlds. We had a good
Yeah.
format at Fort Worth, but that's unfortunate that they're not going to stick to it for Worlds.
Gotta agree.
The whatever you can do to make the scene, love you and stuff, you got to do it, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know what all goes behind the scenes of operations and whatnot, and how much it costs, or what the budget is, or whatever.
I mean, there's only 16 teams going, so like it's only 16 teams. Like, give them another one, like another round.
Yeah, it does say it's Thursday to Sunday, so I mean, like you're given an extra day to kind of work with. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird to me.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. What about outside of tournament play? Like we were out Friday. What'd you do for the rest of the weekend? I know you watched some of the matches. Did you go downtown and kind of experience some Fort Worth vibes or anything like that?
So Saturday, after Friday, we kind of all went back to the hotel, had a little team talk, and then I just kind of went back to the rest of Friday. Kind of watched open bracket, socialize with people, kind of, interact with everyone around, because it's the last, open event of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, we all got up. We were gonna play the free for all. We were all gonna do the side tournaments, but I guess it's the first time they ran it for this tournament, so there was long lines and stuff. You couldn't really like pre-register for them. So from what I had heard, like every side bracket tournament was already booked, so that was kind of a bummer. But we kind of walked around the area, kind of walked pretty good distance, find food and whatnot. But it was pretty much just strictly Halo and just talking with people all weekend.
Okay. Yeah, it was good to get to meet you. I had been talking to you for like a couple months, and like
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who our old coach was, Looney from our Australian squad, but he was a super outgoing and I don't know, super approachable person. I felt you kind of were that same vibe. Like, you seemed
Yeah.
very mature for your age, especially now that I know you're 20 years old. Holy shit! Like,
I think every roster needs to have that one like
for sure.
conversationalist, like
Yeah,
that one person that's outgoing, like put your name out there. Like it's good to have a person on that team, that'll kind of do that. And I'm fine doing that. Like I'm a super, you know, cool person. Like I'll have a conversation with anybody, which is, I'd rather have that than like someone that's not really like approachable, doesn't really want to talk at all. But
yeah,
I appreciate the kind words. A lot of people say I'm more mature than my age, which I kind of have to be.
yeah. I know I felt pretty welcomed being invited with you guys to dinner that night. Like, I know sometimes players and owner relationships, especially like, an amateur organization or whatever, like a lot of the times those owners and staff don't go to these tournaments and they're
Mm,
mainly just a voice behind a Twitter DMs or something like that. But I try and go as many as I can, and getting to like actually hang out with you guys and get to know y'all was pretty special in my opinion. I'm pretty bummed the season's over.
yeah.
Um,
Is if you're out there, there's no sense in us like not all hanging out. We're
yeah,
all under the same branch. Like we're all part of the same org. You may as well treat it like family. And it's like, you didn't go to Salt Lake City, did you?
no, I didn't. So we picked the LVT boys up like too late for to go.
Uh huh.
So I wasn't able to get a flight and a hotel and all that to get to do that. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
and
would have been
like
nice.
it's nice, with the Texas tournaments, you're kind of just in driving distance of those,
Yeah,
which you don't have to spend 400, $500 on a flight alone.
yeah. I ended up staying at a hotel for Fort Worth just so I could, because like I live near Fort Worth, but not like, oh, it's just a short little drive. Like, it would take me over an hour to get there, and then along with all the tolls and like the parking and stuff like that, I might as well just you know get a hotel and stay, which I did. So
Yeah.
it was worth it. It was fun. Did you end up getting any merch? Like, I got the straight ripping hoodie. I got the what else? I thought I got a shirt or something like that.
No. Well, I did get one of the shirts. I was gonna get the complexity
Yeah, I missed the hoodie on
hoodie.
that.
Dude, I missed the hoodie too, so I didn't get it first day, but I ended up grabbing one of their shirts. It was like a white and blue
Yeah,
shirt. And
that's the
I
one I
grabbed
got.
that
Yep.
one. Yeah, but I really wanted to get that hoodie because I saw them post it prior to the event even going live. I know everybody kind of got that straight ripping hoodie. I didn't grab that one. This was one of the first tournaments where I didn't grab like multiple pieces of merch, but I don't know. I know SSG's really stepped up. They have really good merch.
Yep.
I feel like that's one thing a lot of like organizations lack is like
For
really
sure.
good merch,
Like,
and it's like
why are there not more like shops like that at these tournaments? Like, we
yeah,
talk
like I
about
don't.
the ROI not being there. Like, if you have merch like that, and give each org a booth if they can come up with the merch. Like, Complexity killed it. Space Station killed it. I wasn't
Yeah,
too
and
much a fan of
this was
optics, but
the first time I've seen Complexity even have a booth. Usually, like it's good to see them kind of expand out, but even if these booths cost you a good amount, like people are gonna buy your merch no matter what. Just if you have a logo on there, because everybody's at these events.
yeah, I think if
But
anything, HCS needs to like, hey, we're gonna give you a booth space. We're not even gonna charge for you. Like, here's a way to make an ROI and keep supporting the
yeah,
thing and teams and getting to
and
events.
that's because the only thing these teams are really making outside of those booths at events is tournament earnings and your bundles on they in the Halo store, which who knows what the percentage cut on those are or whatnot. So any way to make money, I think you need to capitalize on it. But I don't know.
Speaking of
Maybe they know something I don't.
speaking of merch, was this your first jersey? Like, getting that bittersweet jersey? Was that your first jersey?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, what
So
else you got?
I had one from Raleigh. I have one from Orlando for Infamous Thieves. I have a few old ones from Call of Duty, but all of
Infamous
my
Thieves. Why does that sound
yeah,
familiar?
it was one that I repped for Orlando. I don't know if they're really involved with anything anymore. All of these orgs that I have jerseys for kind of just I'll say this is the only jersey I have where I think the org is still active. All my other ones are kind of like suspended, deleted, or whatever with their Twitter accounts. But I know Ivan Eyes and Parabola, this was their first jersey, and they didn't really want to ever take it off. They were just like ecstatic to have it.
That's good. Like we're pretty hyped on our jersey. I think we got a new one coming out here soon. I'm actually wearing it right now. It's just a sample, but when the video comes out, you'll be able to see it's kind of got like some pink and yellow. Just trying some new stuff out for
Is
2024
it
season.
the ones you were telling me about at Fort Worth?
I don't think so, but maybe. Yeah,
I don't
you know
know.
what? I bet it is. I bet it is. Yeah. That I maybe we were already working on it by then. So yeah, I may have showed you. Were they sending me a sample or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wearing it right now just to wear on stream or on in the recording or whatever.
Yeah, I need to get my hands on, a hoodie and shirt because Gravy was rocking the hoodie.
Yeah.
It's like the simplistic view of it's really nice. I enjoyed it.
My wife actually made that hoodie. Like we didn't we couldn't get them from Arma in time, so she's like, "Well, I can go out and make some." So,
That's awesome.
we're
It's
able
nice to
to
have a supporting role like that. That's dope.
yeah, she made the bittersweet pink or yellow guys all shirts and hoodies because like we knew you guys were going to be on the team for a while, so we had time to get the jerseys and whatnot. But
Oh,
with those guys, like it wasn't a for sure thing, so we weren't able to get them jerseys, but you know,
yeah. That's what they were kind of telling us was like, I mean, at least y'all actually gave them something, last second, like there's a lot of teams that will just send a, team and, just kind of pay for everything and the org doesn't get anything out of it if they don't rep something from the org.
for sure,
So,
like not having anyone walk around the event with your logo on it, like
yeah, you gotta there's gotta be a give and take there.
for sure. So let's talk about previous tournaments. So what did we get at this one? Top 32, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And then the
I think
previous
it's
one you got
32.
top 20 at Arlington. Good
Yeah,
showing for sure.
it was like 18th, 19th, or 20th, something like that. But yeah, top 20.
Okay.
That was our best placing that we've gotten for Halo Infinite. We didn't really have much practice going into the Arlington one. We had picked up a fourth and had a lot of reps with him, and then kind of maybe a week and a half out of the tournament, we were just kind of finding a lot of problems that we couldn't solve, and just kind of like a few internal issues that couldn't resolve. So Parabola had hit up Ziad, and Ziad said he was down to go. We maybe played 6 to 8 maps worth of scrims with him, so like not even really a lot of maps. And we went to the tournament and just kind of we were betting on just clicking together, and luckily we did. And it was just kind of like something that you just knew off the spot. Something was there. We just meshed really well.
So Ziad, that was his first tournament with you guys. Now we're the rest of you core three already together. I can't remember.
Yeah, so I was done competing after Orlando, or so I thought I was. And Parabola, Ivanized, and Capples, they were a team of 3 going into Charlotte, and they had picked me up, I think, a week and a half as well before Charlotte, which was the opening tournament of this year. And I told myself I was just gonna go because it's literally my backyard. And we ended up going to that one. We got top 32 there
Not bad.
for our first event together, which Parabola and Ivanized knocked me out at Orlando, so I got top 64 at Orlando. So we were kind of making our way up in placings and seeing a lot of strides for success. But Parabola, Ivanized, we kind of have like a loyalty and bond toward each other. We kind of want to make it to the top together. We kind of all understand how we want to play the game together, which is really nice. It's better than a lot of AMs. They find a new team every week. Running new tournaments every week with a new team and stuff. It's just we have something to build off of, which is really nice. Makes competing a whole lot more worth it when you have a group of guys you want to get better with.
For sure. Who was your fourth for Charlotte? If it was you three, I don't remember who you said.
It was Capples.
Capples. I don't know if I've
Yeah,
talked to him
he
before.
was he was an H5 kid. Played a lot of Halo 5.
Hmm.
Played Halo Infinite. Just kind of his spark kind of faded for it after Charlotte. So
Okay, so he
um,
wasn't at the last couple events.
no, Charlotte was his last. But he's been thinking about coming back and playing some. So who knows what year 3 holds for a lot of people coming back.
Okay. And then Orlando, you said you got top 64. Who was your team then?
Yeah, so it was Ozzy, Jiggy, and Game Boy.
I don't think I know any
Um,
of those guys.
yeah, so Jiggy still competes. He plays with a couple of our buddies. Other two, they stopped competing. Game Boy finished after Arlington, and we knocked him out of the tournament. Unfortunately, that
Maybe
was
I
a
do know
bitter.
Game Boy.
Yeah, that was a bittersweet moment for me because Jerry is his name, and Jerry and I are really close. And it was sad to see me, send somebody home that you
Did
really enjoy playing the game with. But it's a part of competing.
you
But
get up and yell at him?
no, I couldn't do that to Jerry. I
No.
just got up and said GG's to all of them. I told myself that I was gonna get up and yell at him, but I didn't.
Have you ever
But
gotten up and yelled or anything like that?
yeah, I did it a few times at Arlington. We beat Sniping Lies, and then we beat Jailings. And we got up and we all kind of talked a little smack towards all of them. So I'm not usually one to make a scene about it. I'm usually just one to go over there, give everybody their fist bumps. But sometimes if the other team is chanting a lot of stuff, you got to give a little something back.
Jailings. Y'all beat Jailings and Sniping Lies? Sniping Lies is no joke. They're a pretty good team. Like,
Yeah.
the way they stuck
So
together.
we beat them game 5 at Arlington, and then we beat Jailings 3-1. And then that's once we beat Jailings, we went in to play Complexity, and that's where we lost.
Mm. Yeah, Sniping Lies beat BitterSweet Yellow. I think winners round 2 or 3. But yeah, that's a good squad for sure. Be interesting to
Yeah.
see if they stick together.
I think from what I've been told that they're going to stick together. Whenever we played them at Arlington, instead of Necessity, it was 7. So I think they've made strides to being a better team by picking up Necessity. I think Necessity offers a lot more to the table, and I think they kind of see that. They saw some pretty good results at Fort Worth too, but they're a good group of guys too. I think they are sticking together though.
Okay. All right. So what was your first event?
I'm not gonna count locals, but my first one that was for some money was MES. It was the Michigan Esports 20K, uh, in Advanced Warfare.
Oh, is
Um,
MES? Oh, was Advanced Warfare not BO3?
yeah, it was Advanced Warfare. I went with Fatality, Crude Arc, and Gecko. Which
Oh,
Gecko,
no way! I know
yeah,
those guys.
yeah. So Crude Arc and Gecko kind of took a chance on me. Our fourth had originally backed out while I was on the flight up there. I was 12 years old. That's where like my support comes from. Is like my dad, paid for everything. I was 12 years old. Like I didn't really
Holy
have,
cow, you were a little
you know,
baby.
yeah. So my dad luckily was a good support system for me and got me out to my first event. So I wouldn't be anywhere where I am today without parents. So yeah, Crude Arc and Gecko, those are like some really good homies. Crude Arc was like maybe 19 or 20. Gecko was like 15 or 16, which Gecko plays with Sheldon and Exib
Mhm.
now over in College COD. So
Yeah.
we all went to that. I think we got top 16 at that event. So it was a pretty good event for all of us. It was something nice. Like, 'cause at the time, that was 20K was a lot of money for a prize pool back
Oh
then.
yeah. Like it was a big. It wasn't considered a major.
Yeah,
But
but
like I think E6
a lot of
showed up.
pros went to it. Yeah, E6 ended up beating Parasite's team in 2 best of 5s
Yeah.
that tournament. So it was also just like a crazy atmosphere. You're just playing in the basement of the Radisson Hotel, which it was kind of nice to have those really compact tournaments where just everything was so tight.
Yeah. Nah, they held some good tournaments back in the day on that
Yeah,
Michigan like scene with what was his name? Do you remember Anthrax?
yeah,
Like
Anthrax.
he was really good back in the day. Like I thought he was gonna kind of blow up.
That's
Um,
Cinch would sponsor these tournaments,
mhm.
and at the time, Scuff was just seen as dominant, but Cinch made some really good controllers. You had those Ebash, NJ Rod, like those were all really good tournament providers. It sucks that it's kind of not where it is
Yeah,
today.
that was a good scene. Like Copier, like who played for BitterSweet in 2016.
Yeah.
Um, O Smoked. You know him?
Oh yeah, and O Monstrous. I used to
Yes.
hate playing O Smoked. I had the
Yes.
worst luck of always playing him round 1 in like a GB tournament.
Yep. Yeah,
Because he was just the greatest S&D player to exist, but he actually plays a lot of Halo now.
Yeah, I've seen him
Like,
I think he was playing Spartan one day when I was watching a Spartan stream, and was like,
Yeah,
that can't be
him and
unlocked.
him and Monstrous, queue a lot together. We matched him the other day. It's just kind of nostalgic to see because he kind of disappeared after
Hmm.
jetpacks. I
Yeah, it
haven't really
was
seen him do anything, but I remember I'd always click on his profile, just mess around and get smoked. It
mess
was
around, get O smoked. Yep.
that scene. That was a good scene. I wish I was a little bit older back then, so I could have just made it to everything. But
Yeah. Why doesn't that guy compete in Halo? That'd be an interesting
I don't
thing to
know.
see him and
Maybe
Monstrous.
yeah, maybe he's got a lot of life ahead of him. Works long hours, something. Who
Could be.
knows?
Yeah.
But
Sure, he's
um,
like mid 20s at least now.
yeah, he's still got it. That's for sure. He knows how to shoot his gun.
Yeah. That's cool to see. Someone still playing,
Yeah,
you know. You must not be a fan of the new CODs or anything like that.
yeah. I'd be surprised if a lot of people are. Just
Okay. So, I know a lot of the stuff's still up in the air right now for 2024, but as of now, kind of what's your plans, I guess, for like the off season and maybe, um, I don't know what your current roster situation is. We haven't really talked about it too much, but and don't talk about it if it's something you don't feel comfortable about right now. But like, what's your plans for off season and perfect
um.
world? Regular tournaments are back.
Well, right now, just a lot of matchmaking. Polishing up the individual grind. Playing in pretty much every off-season tournament. We have that Cloud9 one coming up in a few days.
Hmm.
As of right now, we kind of have the stoplight right now on who to pick up as our fourth. Ivan Eyes, Parabola, and me, team of three, as a lot of people know. But kind of just waiting on seeing where Tom is. We have a few other prospects that we're kind of looking out after. But right now, just kind of keeping the hands warm, waiting to see what the roadmap is for year three.
Hmm.
Hopefully, we kind of get an update about that around Worlds. Because I think last year they announced kind of the roadmap after Worlds,
Yeah.
but hopefully, they'll give us enough downtime. I know some people have to get their finances in order, but just working the 9 to 5, coming home, playing, Halo, just keeping the game polished for year three. And I think I can speak for everybody on BitterSweet that we are, the heads are held high for year three. So I think we're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, it seems like y'all got a bright future ahead. I'd like to see the three of y'all stick together, and you and Ivan Eyes are super young, and Parabola, like, I'm hoping to get him on here so I could hear kind of his story and showcase that. I don't know how he feels about doing the podcast. I'll have to hit him up and ask him, but
Yeah.
he seemed like when I was watching y'all play a lot at the event, like y'all's IGL and y'all's like a big part of your team.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, we all have an understanding of how we want to play the game, but it's good when we like Parabola in the driver's seat. We all have our moments of kind of like when we make play calls or whatnot, but
Hmm.
it's nice to have that one kind of just leading voice, and he's got a good one for that, because he understands the game to an in-depth level. But yeah, I mean, kind of how KCP came up, all of them together. It's kind of how we have it in mind for us as well, and I don't think any of us have any doubts for each other. I think we all just want to make it to the top together.
Now, if you can't pick you three, who would you say is next up that competed in the open bracket? You can't say like a team like LVT or
Yeah, a team that should
yeah.
pretty much are
Pick
guaranteed pro.
pick one single player who you're like, okay, this guy, he's probably next up to make it on a big team like a Complexity or a G1 or a Optic, something like that. Who
Um,
give a community member a shout out, I guess.
for me, it's between two players. I don't know if I can pick just one, but Last Shot is a really
Yeah,
talented
dude.
individual player. He made it to the final table in the free for all at both
Hmm.
tournaments. Now he's going to go to Worlds for it. I think he has a bright future ahead of him. Hopefully, Halo
Yeah,
sticks around enough for him to flourish in it. But
he's
he's a
definitely
really good.
mechanically gifted.
Yeah, he's kind of one of the generational talents you kind of see every now and then, and I think he's got a bright future ahead of him too with the good group around him. So I think I'll give my praises to him. Somebody clip me on this, but I think Last Shot, he's got a bright future ahead of him for sure.
All right, who's the other one?
Ezo. Ezra's another guy.
Ezzo.
Everybody thinks he cheats and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
I'm not allowed to plug my own teammates in here, so
yeah.
everybody thinks he cheats, but he's a pretty individually talented player as well. That could see a lot of success.
What did they end up placing his team?
Maybe same round as us, I
Okay.
think.
Who
But
did he
yeah,
team with? I don't even know who he teamed with.
teamed with Jiggy, Morgan, and Exidium.
Okay, I met Morgan. I remember meeting Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan's a cool guy. He's kind of like close to our group of friends too. So like Ezzo, Morgan, we're all kind of like pretty close together. We all kind of just chill together. We're a pretty tight knit group.
Okay. What's your best memory from Fort Worth?
Um, One of them's got to be Hibachi, right? Just there's something about getting everybody together and just spending time. You don't have to worry about the struggles or anything everybody's going through. It's just kind of a nice time to get
Yeah.
together and laugh, and
Sake
it doesn't even.
was flowing.
So it doesn't even have to be just food. Just to escape reality for a little bit and get to hang out with some cool people, and got to meet you. Obviously, a great memory, and hopefully many more for sure.
Yeah, that was a fun night for sure.
Yeah.
Um, let's say BitterSweet isn't playing. What's your favorite team you're rooting for
Um,
in
as far
Halo?
as for Worlds right now, I got to be an Optic fan, I guess.
Yeah, you want to see Optic do it again?
I'd love to see Optic get the back to back, and then I think I'd like to see Formal just. I feel like Formal's gonna retire, but I don't know. I'd like to see him go out on top. But Formal's always been like a player that I really liked in Call of Duty, and I definitely like seeing him in Halo. So it's
Yeah,
nice to see him still have it.
I'm gonna say, Optic, or I would really like to see Spartan get one. Like that dude.
Spartan's a dude. Spartan puts in a lot of time. His
Yeah,
I definitely think he gets overlooked a lot. That's why I liked Salt Lake City so much. Was just getting to see him in the finals. That was
yeah.
pretty phenomenal. He's a great player.
He's gone through a lot team wise, and
Yeah,
he's super outspoken, which is exactly what we need. And I think with how
yeah. I think
outspoken he is,
he kind of leads the charge for the community. That's
for
why I
sure.
kind of know so much about the whole format thing. I was talking to him at Fort Worth, and he sent a ton of stuff in to try and get the PCs better optimized for players. Like he truly does want what's best for the community, and I think that's something that not so much that we lack, but it's definitely something that we need. Just that kind of lead voice.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the man right there for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
What brands do you like right now? Like, what brands are you like following and kind of checking in? Like, whether it be you like their merch, you like their branding, and their teams other than Optic. Is there any others?
I mean, BitterSweet's on the come up for sure. I've really liked SSG's merch for sure. I like their branding as a whole. I think that's a team that's really deep in on Halo, especially. Like, yeah, they're involved with everything, but they're kind of all in on Halo, which is something that could be really good for us. I'd really like to see Sentinels kind of make a turnaround. I know that every team has their struggles and whatnot as an organization, but
Yeah.
be good to see them kind of have a turnaround as a whole. Kind of be good for the community too. But any team that's trying to do their best for Halo, I'm all for it.
Okay. All right. We talked a little bit about it, but like, what are your goals for 2024? Like, let's say, like I said, it's back to LAN events. Like, what's the placing you're looking for? Um, what's the next step?
I think the next step, I think for any amateur is just make it to pools.
Yeah.
Do well in the online tournaments. Get you a good seeding for LAN, and make your way through the open bracket gauntlet and get into pools. I think it's pretty far fetched to people, starting an open bracket to say to win the tournament. You gotta set goals that are can be placed
Hmm.
reasonably, well. So I think just getting over the hump and the hurdle of just making it to pools is kind of where we need to start. In the off season, we're definitely looking to kind of just break the game back down to its fundamentals, kind of get back on the same page together. That way, if we have to bring in a new fourth, that kind of isn't familiar with how we play, at least us three on the same page, and it's a lot easier to slot in that fourth player. So kind of just getting back on the same page, learning how we want to play the game again, and just prep for year 3 is important in the off season. Just kind of goes to show who wants to be ahead and who wants it for sure.
What about the content grind? I mean, you've talked about content. When are we going to start seeing streams pop off for Collective and
I
maybe even
keep
some
I keep
YouTube,
I
some
mean
shorts?
I keep opening up the OBS, but I never click the start button, and I definitely need to get to it.
You've got to, man. Like you've got this
I
much downtime, like at
Yeah,
least
I
a couple
gotta take
times a week.
advantage of it. I don't know if I would do YouTube as much. I think I would just kind of like to start with just streaming.
Yeah.
But I think I needed to have a little bit more social presence, not only just for me, but being a part of BitterSweet. Twitter clips, interacting, doing those co-ed tournament that Darkest Hour is doing, just being involved. And I'm involved on LAN. I socialize with people, but I need to change that and have that as an online persona as well. So I definitely need to get better about the streaming. I'm gonna try and do it, at least 3-4 times a week minimum.
Yeah, there's a big opportunity there, especially like, a player like you in the open bracket. Like you have a lot of players that maybe are placing, worse than T64 or want to get into competing online or on LAN, and they're looking for someone like you who's, placing T20 to T32, like of how you did it, maybe some videos on YouTube and stuff like that. I think they would love to follow someone like you.
Yeah,
I think you're missing the boat by not streaming and not producing some content because you've got the talent and you're a good voice. So maybe
100%. I'll never know it till I try it. And just like it doesn't take that much more effort. If I'm already queuing matchmaking, it doesn't take much to start up the stream. And it's just, I got the internet to do it. It just takes the willpower to actually click the live button, and I need to get better about that for sure. So
how's your
that's
PC?
definitely something I'm working on.
How's your PC? Do you got a pretty strong PC that can manage you streaming and playing at the same time?
Yeah, it manages it pretty well. I have a 3080 Ti.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Everything's good to go. So I'm pretty got my PC pretty optimized. I'm in the tech industry, so I kind of like to have everything running pretty smoothly. So I feel like a lot of people complain about the game doesn't feel right when you're streaming and playing, but hopefully, with what I've done, kind of doesn't feel that way. So
Player like
even
me, we
more of
don't
a
even
reason.
notice because our gameplay is always just not, not there. So I've even like streamed some Halo Infinite and I don't feel a difference. But then
Yeah,
again,
I mean,
not you guys.
I'll have to stream, when we queue up, when you backpack me.
Yeah, we better get on that.
I mean, I'm free all the time. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I dodged the other night. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching
Yeah.
football and celebrating birthdays. So
Yeah, I don't blame you. It was your birthday. I'll give you the pass.
all right, man. We're about to close this out. Any shout outs you want to give to some teammates or some family members or anything who supported you? Anything like that?
Just an appreciation for everybody that continues to support me and the boys on the grind. A huge shout out to BitterSweet for all they do for us, and hopefully we can get something going for year 3.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you again for joining us. Thanks for repping the cupcake at Fort Worth. It was great to get to meet you, and thanks for doing this podcast. I know a lot of people are real hesitant about doing something like this, but I think it was pretty smooth, pretty natural conversation. So hopefully we can get a parabola on, Ivanized. Shoot, I want to get everybody on as I can, but
Well,
I think
I'll give him a nudge in the right direction. Don't you worry, I got it.
Yeah, who do you think will be the most difficult to get on here?
I don't know. Maybe Parabola.
Yeah.
He's not the social butterfly, but he can be if he wants it.
Oh, dude, he was talking to me a whole bunch at Hibachi. Like, me and him had some good conversation. And
See, that's what he was telling me. I just got to get him out of the shell a little bit, which I'm trying to do.
I'm surprised you say that, because, like, I didn't picture him that way at all. So maybe he just, I don't know. I'll get him on. I'll find a way to get him on.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he'll watch this and see, like, oh, it's not too bad. It's
Yeah,
just talking.
it's just having a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, appreciate it again for joining, and I'm gonna leave some links down in the description below where you can find Collective, hopefully streaming, and you can also follow him on Twitter. Maybe he'll start making some TikToks with some sick clips of his, and I'm gonna set the bar high for him and kind of force him to do some stuff like that. A little bit of peer pressure. But yeah, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we will do another podcast soon. Thanks, guys.